Now, before we get into today's league racing video, I can tell you that there's going to be no sound throughout the entire video because I streamed the race on Sunday and there was no sound coming through the stream. Regardless, I bring to you another league racing video on F1 23. This is round number 9 for my home race, the British Grand Prix. And we are currently 9th place in the Drivers' Championship after Austria, and we are still 7th in the Constructors' Championship, where things have been going relatively well so far this season. We've started to find our form, and admittedly, we should have got a top 6 in Canada and Austria, as a few mistakes with penalties ruined the chances. So I hope you guys get subscribed to the channel. I hope you guys enjoy this one, because I'm going to try and give you guys a video with no sound. So if you do enjoy it, I will highly appreciate it, as going into this one, it was not great. And what I mean by that is that I've done a few races around this track, and the pace has never really been there, especially in qualifying. But with some setup changes, I found some more speed and some more confidence. And we're not really showing it right now, as we had a moment in Chapel. But I'm fancying my chances in this qualifying session. But this first lap isn't really going to be a good look for us, as we do a 25.4, which is rubbish. And the next lap, with just under 5.5 minutes to go, isn't much better. You can see we're only improving by literally not even a tenth. And this lap was pretty much rubbish. We missed the apex at the final part of the Vale chicane, and it's going to be a 25.3, which again is rubbish, but we're somehow 7th. So that's not great. There are a few drivers not racing, like SLR Ham and Elite Risks, so that's why there's only 17 of us in the lobby. But regardless, we're not performing so far in qualifying, and we've got it all to do on this last lap, and I'm going to try and talk you through it. So, turn 1 and 2 are completely flat. You want to spot the 50 at turn 3, nicely done, but we get a little bit tentative on the throttle. You saw it took a while to build up the throttle towards turn 4, and the traction isn't really there either, and we are down on the delta in the first sector, only marginally, but it will cost us by the end of the lap. It's a mid-point 1, which is solid, but I've done a 0.0, so we're half a tenth of what we can do. Through Luffield, we made a mistake on our first lap, and that's why we have gained a whole bunch of time on the exit. Now we're nearly 2 tenths up, so now this is more like it. Cops also flat out on this year's game. We missed the apex, though, and that's cost us just a bit of time. Again, it doesn't look like a lot of time, but it is costly. Now through Maggins and Beckett's, we don't really nail the apex, and on the exit at Chapel, we have a moment. I've never done that in practice, and again, we just scraped that tenth that we gained through Luffield, and now again, we're only marginally up on the delta. Through Stowe, we just take a bit too much inside curb. We want to take it a little bit wider to carry more maximum speed through the corner, and now through the Vale chicane, we actually take it a lot better this time, and across the line we go. It's only a 25.1, and that's put us in P6, and by the time we get to the end of the session, it's P8. I think for the first time since Jeddah, I feel like we've taken an L in qualifying. My PB was a 24.8, and with that we would have been comfortably in the top 3, so we've kind of taken an L in quali, which is a rare one considering our form in the last few races, but I think we can still make it up in the race. I know the race pace in practice was pretty strong. I'm going to see what we can do in the main race, because that is where you score points. We're going to be starting on the hard tyre. Medal right next to us in P7. He had a very solid end of the session, considering he wasn't feeling too confident around this track. So, let's see what we can do here. 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix. What can we do in our home race? We're going to find out as the lights go out, and we are on the way for round number 9, and we get our teammate off the line, and that allows us to coast through turn 1 and settle in into P7. But going into turn 3, SLR Corey has made contact with the pole sitter Midzi, and they both go round for a spin. And Midzi, I can tell you, he was fuming at Corey after the race for that incident, and I'll talk about that after the race. But right now, we've gained 3 places on the opening sector, and we're putting some pressure on SLR Jam, who's up to 4th place as well, as going through Brooklands and Luffield. We're going to see if we can try and challenge the Aston Martin round the outside, as he has it covered, and we cover off Crispy as well. So, not a bad start. we've managed to keep it clean, which is quite a concern around Britain, especially around turn 3, where collisions like we saw there are very likely. So now we're looking to try and make more progress as we get right behind SLR Jam, as we get a great run through Cops and now through Maggins and Beckett's. It's like we're almost pushing the Aston Martin through the corner, and I was feeling pretty eager to overtake him, but unfortunately Riggsy right behind us started on soft tyres and he's blitzed his way through the field. He's carved through the field like a hot knife through butter, and I'm not going to fight him as he is on much faster tyres. He's going to be a lot quicker at this stage of the race, and we let him go no problem at all. And that is literally because DRS is so crucial around this track. If you don't have DRS, it is very hard to make any more progress for the rest of the race. So that's why we let Riggsy go. He's past Jam on the next lap, and now we're looking to follow the AlphaTauri as we're trying to drain the battery on the hanger straight. We have a look at Stowe, but Jam goes a bit wide. He opens the door a little bit for us, and there's a little bit of contact there. And we do get the better run out of the corner, but we decide to let Jam take the corner and stay ahead of us. I did apologise for that. He apologised to me for being a bit robust at the start as well, but honestly, if I'm going to overtake him, it's got to be clean. We don't hit people out of the way to get overtakes done on this channel. I try and be a clean driver, so that's why we let him go. But we skip all the way to lap 11. Nothing happened. Riggsy pits on to the set of medium tyres. He took those soft tyres 11 laps into the race, which is very impressive, but now that's going to cause quite a cluster in the pits for the next few laps. On to lap 12 we go, and you can see here we're still 5th, well we're up to 5th thanks to Riggsy pitting, and now Drastic Blaze in front of us has decided to pit for a set of medium tyres, and in hindsight I wish I did the same thing. Our teammates pitted instead. I think Corey's pitted as well, so we are being undercut by a couple of cars, and we have to respond on this lap and pit, otherwise we're going to lose so much time on the overcut. You can see Jam making progress as soon as this is happening. He passes Roller around the outside just before they go into the pits, and I thought that was pretty smooth from the Aston Martin driver as we follow him and Roller into the pits. Roller actually didn't get taken out on lap 1, so he's running a really solid race. This is what he can do, guys. When he doesn't get taken out, he is pretty much up there with some of the best drivers on this grid. So it's a bit annoying seeing him getting taken out all the time. But we're going to box for a set of mediums. You can see it's not the smoothest exit out of the pit lane as we get held a little bit, and that's going to cost us dearly. You can see SLR Corey coming through the final corner now. Riggsy set the fastest lap of the race, and he's through on the undercut, and so is SLR Corey. He's through, and that's not great. We've been undercut. We have no track position to our name. We're down in 11th place, and to make matters worse, we don't have DRS going into the Wellington Straight. So it means we've had to drain all our battery to try and get back in the DRS range, and we don't manage to do that. As you can see, we've run out of battery, and we've got the Williams of Crispy all over our gearbox, basically pushing us through Maggott, Beckett and Chapel. And I was pretty annoyed at this point because I know that we're just a sitting duck on the straight. There's nothing we can do here, and Crispy goes through, and that was quite deflating considering we were ahead of him before the pit stop phase. So yeah, if we just pitted on lap 12, we wouldn't be facing this situation, and it's not going to get any easier for us to the start of the next lap either. You can see Jam has done a 27.8. I believe we've done a 28.9. We did no practice on the mediums, and I didn't really enjoy them as a race tyre. As you can see here, Snipes, who was leading the race, he's gone for the overcut, and he's overcut me, Crispy and Sora. So that's another net position lost in this Grand Prix, and it's so frustrating because track position is everything. In Silverstone, it's hard to overtake because of the nature of the DRS trains, and once again, due to the lack of battery, Sora's going to fly past us, and again, there's nothing we can do. I would try and defend it, but we would lose DRS. Speaking of defending, Crispy's going to have a little bit of a tug of war with Sora through Vale, and they make contact, and at this point, I'm losing my head here, because look at the cars in front of us here, guys. they're pulling away like it's absolutely nothing, as these two are still side by side through turns 1 and 2. Crispy is now going to absolutely send it at turn 3. He goes wide. I can't do a thing here. And he hits Sora as well, so we have to take avoiding action on the outside line. We have the outside line on the Williams now, and we just make just the slightest bit of contact, and Crispy is then flying off to where near Raikkonen binned it in 2014 as we pass Sora. But after all of those shenanigans, the gap between me and the Alfa Romeo in front is 2.5 seconds. That's a lot of time being lost in a few corners. And at this point, I'm very frustrated because I'm seeing my chances of a top 6 fade away again for the 3rd race in a row. And ironically, we are in P8 at the moment. So it looks like we're going to finish in P8 for the 3rd race in a row when a top 6 was on the cards. And this adds up in the championship, guys. That's why we are just a couple of points behind those in front of us. It's because of moments like this. And again, the lack of battery is really hurting us as Sora passes us again. People seem to turn up the wick in race pace on the medium tyres, and we just don't really have a response to it. So, 9 laps to go, we're P9, and we need some serious fighting to go down in front of us. But thankfully, Sora does drag us on into DRS range of the cars ahead as we get our second warning for track limit on lap 20. Just a little bit too wide at the exit of Copse, so we have to be mindful of it. We still have absolutely no ERS to our name, but we are in DRS range of the cars ahead, being led by SLR Corey in the Haas, looking to make up for that turn 3 incident on lap 1. As you can see, there's cars in front of us absolutely scrapping away for position. You can see Sora having another look on the inside of Vale. This time it's on the AlphaTauri of Rigsley, but nothing doing there. And this is what we needed to get back into this train and to still be within a shot of the top 6 places. You can see there's more squabbling going on the following lap. Again, Sora just relentlessly going for the AlphaTauri, and again he's going for the inside line for Vale. Rigsley trying his best to defend on those older medium tyres. There's a bit of contact between the two. Sora goes wide, completely wide through the last corner, and we say thank you very much, I'll take that position, and I'll happily move up into P7. So Racecraft 101, we're just sitting back and letting the action unfold for us, and we just pick up the pieces. And during this time, we've managed to save a bit more battery, as well, like 20% now. As lap 24 rolls around, Riggsy gets his 3rd and final warning, and that is a 3-second time penalty. And again, we get a strong run out of Cobbs, and through Maggots and Beckett and Chappell, we just get so much better drive out of those corners. As Riggs' tyres are going off, we're going to use the battery that we've been saving for the last few laps to try and pass one of our main rivals in the championship. We've got the outside line, but Riggsy's not going to give this up too easily. We have to give him space. There's a bit of contact on the exit, but it is a nice move. And once again, we are back into the top 6. So we're making a late push at the end of this race, and we're looking to get a top 6. Right now, we're looking good for it, but P4 is in front of us. As me and Roller, I was hoping that we would both pass Corey and get 4th and 5th on the track, but right now, it's all about the run out of Chappell. That's how we're going to see if we can challenge these guys, but unfortunately, we get a little bit of a hesitant moment through Chappell, and that's going to cost us dearly. And Sora has come back, by the way. He's back in DRS range as we fend him off for now. But Roller goes for the last lap. Heroics up the inside into Stowe. There's contact. He's gone round again. He's not scoring points again. We momentarily move up to 5th, but that poor run has compromised us, and we give a bit too much respect to Sora, who basically shoves us out of the way. We get a massive hit of the side pod, and he gets us right at the end. And it's going to be P6 in this British Grand Prix. And honestly, I'll take it. I was a little bit annoyed about giving the place to Sora on the last corner, essentially. But finally, we've got on a top 6 finish. And the circumstances that we were facing throughout the race were not very easy. So I'm happy that we've managed to grind out that result with a late push to get ourselves into the top 6. And it actually might be 5th, because Corey actually sent in his own incident on lap 1, he felt that bad about it, as Midzi finished out the points along with Roller. So Darren moves up into P7. He could be P6, which is great news for him. I'm glad he managed to get some decent points on the board, as he's struggled so far this season. But for us, it is another solid point scoring finish, and we're making this into a good habit, which is something I would have been dying for last season. And the pace is there with the front runners. And the next one is going to be Hungary. A big shout out to Drastic Blaze, finishing P3 in his 3rd race in the McKeown division. He's shown some insane improvement. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Sorry for the lack of sound. I'll make sure it's there for the next video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Subscribe for more. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.